A lot of people say their job is reducing them to tears. A new study from the job search company Monster found 8 out of 10 people have cried at work. Monster polled 3,000 workers. More than 15% of them said they had cried over their workload. Almost 13% reported workplace bullying left them in tears. Although crying at work has traditionally been considered taboo, not everybody thinks it's a bad thing. Experts on workplace behavior say displays of emotion, even at work, remind us we're all human. Let's bring in our go-to clinical psychologist. Joining me now, Dr. Jeffrey Gardier. Doc, welcome back to Chasing News. Good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
You could probably hear my eyes rolling as I got through this story. But let me ask you, where is the line of acceptable emotional display at the office?
I think if you could take a few minutes to let some of the tears out in order to alleviate the stress, I think it's a good thing. When it gets to the point of where you can't do your job any longer, or it's affecting the whole work environment and throwing the morale off, then I think you have a bit of an issue.
Isn't there something to be said for controlling your emotions and being strong? Is this more of a reward of, just let it go?
I think that certainly being strong means a combination of controlling your emotions so you can get the task done, but also being in contact with your own feelings so that you don't let them get pent up. So as psychologists, mental health experts, we say it's important to be able to tap into those emotions, and taking some time to go to the restroom or closing the door and letting some tears out to alleviate the stress certainly is a healthy thing.
Doc, last quick point. You think that this study by Monster glosses over the causes? I mean, someone could have just learned that someone died.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a little bit more complex or in depth. I spoke to a physician who said that she often cries with her patients, but that's a positive thing because it shows empathy and shows that she is understanding of the patient's pain. So I think they need to, on the next go round, look a little bit closer at a lot of the very positive things that can bring about tears.
All right, Doc, always good to talk to you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Let's bring back tonight's A-plus panel, Republican strategist Allison Young and Democratic councilman from Linden, New Jersey, Peter Brown. Peter, I'll start with you on this. Crying at work, as I said to the doc, I feel like you have to qualify that. Bad news versus stress, and I think people ought to toughen up.
Well, Bill, I do agree that we have to break it down a little on why people crying at work. I mean, we've all heard reports about people being burnt out, anxiety and stress that's happening at the workplace. One thing I would suggest is people need to go, and when you feel like you have a lot of these emotions at work, go see a mental health professional, whether it's a psychologist, psychiatrist. Those services are out there, and many companies do pay for those services.
We have got a whole society wearing their emotions on their sleeves, and everyone's like grabbing at the next victim banner, victim label, instead of just saying, look, I can deal with a little more stress, put more on me.
Well, what the doc said is right. Like, a little empathy at work is good. We are humans, we're not robots. Right. But, as a supervisor and as a boss, I have to say that the crying at work makes me uncomfortable. And I've done it. I'm not always this ice cold. I've done it. I get the stress thing, but what makes me uncomfortable is when people cry about home things that I generally wouldn't bring into the office.
Yeah, leave it at home. All right, thanks, guys.